Welcome to How to Authentically Show Up for Yourself and Your Business.
Hi, I'm Savannah, and I'm joined by Olivia. We're so excited to teach you everything.
And we're going to take it step by step. Let's go through the lowdown. So, essentially, what we're going to do is we're going to introduce ourselves so you know who you are joining. We're going to talk about why we're here, what's the purpose of all this. And then we're going to go into the three main sections of what we have: how to show up authentically, making meaningful connections, and tips and tricks. So, by the end of this, you are going to receive a ton of value. We encourage you to take it slow, pause it when you need it, and have a form of like writing utensil, piece of paper, or a Google Drive document open so that you can write down. We have some fun journal prompts coming up for you.
Awesome.
Okay, let us get to know us. I am Olivia, and I refer to myself as the social media alchemist. And essentially, what I do is I empower entrepreneurs to grow their business by showing up as their full self on social media. Hence, why we're here today. We're here to talk about authenticity. We're here to go away with all of the I should do this or I need to be this kind of person and really hone in on your specific craft so that you can get consistent in your business, level up. That's what we're here to do, and confidently connect with your dream clients and just have your dream reality come true. This is a time
Mm,
where we're letting go of what we believe we have to be and we're rising up into who our genuine selves are. All
Amazing.
right, Savannah, your turn.
Quick note on Olivia. She has helped me in this realm and is absolutely phenomenal. So exceptional at really helping you kind of pull out what you want to do, who your client is, and then how to actually execute. I'm Savannah. A lot of people call me Savvy. My social media handles are Savvy Rose. That's also how I'm typically referred. I don't know my exact title. I've played around in the social media realm for the last 5 or so years, helping other people manage their accounts. And over the last 2 years, I've transitioned into promoting from my personal page, which has just been a literal dream. It's so much connecting with community and finding ways to collaborate and really highlight in exceptional people and brands and organizations. And through 5 years of learning all on my own, it's been a lot of tips, tricks, things not to do, more importantly, things that feel good to do. And with a background in some schooling in psychology, I also am working towards entering into the psychedelic assisted therapy realm, which also has a lot to do with authentic connection, to show up for yourself and your business.
Savannah, you are insanely incredible, multifaceted, the literal most positive person I've ever met in a way where it's like realistic, but you're also like, I just want to enjoy life to its fullest capacity. And that genuinely inspires me to do the same every day. So I love your mission. I love your story. And I love you. And I'm so excited that we're all here to share in this beautiful journey together.
Me too. I adore you, Olivia.
Cool. Yay. Okay. So we're here to talk about why we're doing this.
Yeah.
Why we are doing this is to create a space for a collaborative community of badass women who are ready to fully step into their power. And I know you're hearing this right now and you're like, okay, that could be me. We're going to just like stoke the flame, light that fire, and really like encourage that.
Oh, yeah.
And so through through connection and reflection of others, we're able to reach our fullest potential and inspire other people to do the same. So essentially what that means is when we're able to be in this communal experience, we get to reflect with each other. We get to see ourselves through different lenses and share in the inspiration. So our intention here is to really have this community of people on the similar journey, all doing their own different thing, but rising together to help support each other. And I think that is beautiful.
Absolutely.
You want to
So a
take
lot
this
of things
one?
that we yeah. A lot of what we talk about is how to show up fully and authentically, both in business, but also your personal life. We know this very well through firsthand experience, trying to show up the way we think others will benefit most from, or the way that we assume other people want us to. And we also know that doesn't necessarily feel like the best option.
Yeah, I mean, I've had years of pretending that I was somebody else, hoping that one day that would make me happy. If I could just be this person, then I would be better. And over time, you start to lose yourself. And then that leads to the feeling of not being able to identify as like who you are or what your actual wants are. I know there was a time where I stopped and I was like, I don't want to be doing any of the things I'm doing right now. And it really takes that moment to like pull back and say, is this serving me? What's the purpose of pretending that I am not who I am? And what are the costs that come along with it?
Right. And it's a scary place to be, to all of a sudden realize you don't necessarily like who you've been, or all of a sudden now you acknowledge you need to dive into who you really authentically are. And that can be such a scary place because it can feel comfortable to show up the way that society or other people want. And I very much resonate with multiple years not being my true self. And the last 2 years, when you unlearn that and shed that and you dive deep into your authenticity, then you're literally calling in exactly what you need, the people you want, the business, every single aspect so effortlessly. And that just allows you to feel even more comfortable and excited to dive deeper into that authentic self.
Yes, I love what you're saying. And I want to take a moment for everyone to now reflect from themselves. As we reflect for ourselves, we want you to do the same too. So we want you to pause this video for at least 5 minutes, maybe set a timer for yourself to journal about what it feels like in your body when you aren't being your true self. We've all experienced that. We've all been there. Take a moment to reflect on that time, either if it's currently or in the past, and just really feel into it. Feel what comes up. Let your inner child speak and just write how you're feeling. So take that moment, pause now. And when you're ready, come back and we will continue on to the next thing. Okay, so now we're here to talk about how to full of showing fully in your business and personal. And Savannah already touched on the benefits of that. And we want to talk a little bit more to really drive in this concept of how important it is. So as she was saying, we both know how it feels to be authentic, and you do too. You've experienced moments in your life where you were just living free in who you are, and we want to encourage that. And the benefits is like when we're able to express our true self, we have felt the magnetic energy around our relationships with ourselves, others, and our business. When you start like speaking on Instagram, sharing your story, saying who you are, inherently you're going to attract people who are like-minded, people who want to work with you, people who are inspired by you. And it's because you're speaking about yourself and your real life experiences.
Completely. Ooh.
All right. And that's what we're here to chat about.
So now, after sitting with what it feels like in your body when you're not being authentic, we want you to take a few extra minutes, also pause this, and just reflect on the ways that you can express yourself more truly, more fully. And what does that feel like? So go ahead, pause this, take a few minutes, definitely set a timer, and then we'll come back.
All right. Okay, now it's how to bring you into everything that you do. So the first step
Amazing.
is to hone in on what makes you unique and what lights you up. And essentially what this means is, what do you want to talk about? Like, what excites you? What makes you stand apart? And if you're sitting here saying, well, I'm not unique, I'm not special, just by existing, you are the most special person in the world. So it really is about finding your passions. People want to hear your passions. I've had so many clients in my past say, well, I'm really interested in this very specific thing, but no one wants to hear about that. And I was like, I want to hear about that. I know tons of other people want to. Just because you're not necessarily seeing people talking about it, or on the flip side, you're seeing a lot of people talking about it, doesn't mean that you shouldn't. It means that you should just bring your own take to it, and share why it excites you.
Absolutely. I think that's such a beautiful point to touch on, the fact that even if you see a lot of people doing it, not to shy away from also doing it. I think that's something that you taught me in a call, where that's kind of a limiting belief of like, well, everyone is posting about this. It's like, okay, but not everyone is you. There's only you who's you. So your take is going to be a little different. And if you feel no one is talking about it, the moment that you drop into that and start sharing, you're gonna attract people who either already were interested or didn't even know they were interested, and now you just opened up this brand new world for them to play in. I think it's so powerful, and it's so easy to get burnt out if you're doing things, posting things, working for things that are not something you're passionate about. And I've definitely fallen into that. But the moment it's something that excites you, what is the very common phrase where it's like, if you love what you do, you never work a day in your life situation? I mean, you're still definitely working, there's still work, but it feels exciting.
It does. And that really ties into the next section, which is sharing your stories. Savannah, you do an incredible job of sharing your story. And I want to ask you, how does it feel to be vulnerable? You talk about all the good stuff, but you also talk about all the really hard stuff. How does that feel for you? And then what's the reaction from other people?
Thank you for asking. It feels so, should I swear on this? Because it feels so freaking good. Um, it is such, it feels like vulnerability is so scary, but when you really allow yourself to be vulnerable and seen and genuinely heard, it ends up feeling like the safest feeling in the world. I think it's so important, especially because I do show up in the world such a positive person. I think that sharing the hard parts allows me to stay authentic, because it's so easy to fall into the realm of toxic positivity, because I really do wake up and I'm like, wow, life is so good. But then I also go and just really get down on like, hi, here's the intimate trauma and things that are happening in my world. And I think I've just naturally always been that way, but didn't realize until recently that that isn't the norm for people. And so that's inspired me to do it even more, and to really talk about the fact that it is kind of an innate quality, but you also have the permission and ability to do that too. And that it feels so good. And you can help someone else, or someone can reach out to you and say, wow, I just experienced that too. Here's a resource or a virtual hug, whatever it is. And I think that that's been my favorite part, aside from community on social media platforms.
Thank you for sharing. And I think that ties so perfectly into being bold. Just like
Oh, yeah.
really letting yourself be vulnerable, letting yourself share yourself, and not worrying what people are going to say on the other side. I think it's so common for people to be like, oh, well, what about the haters? What about the trolls? But in reality, like, those people don't even exist in my world. Like, as long as
Right.
you're just like showing up and talking about things you're excited about, it's going to go over well. People are going to be receptive to it. Then you built such a large following because you're just like, this is what's going on in my world. I'm not like trying to like tiptoe around it. Like, this is what's up. This is the real me. And for me to do that too is like so liberating, because we're not having to monitor what we say. We're not having to second guess ourselves or worry if we should post it or not. It's just like, I just wrote this thing. I'm just going to post it, maybe step away from my phone for a second, and let's see what happens.
Yeah, and I think it's so relatable to just normal everyday life. Not every single human is going to be your friend or fall in love with you or like you, and that's okay. That's not how we were made to live. And so same for social media, not everyone is going to agree. And I really realized over the past few months that when I was sharing from an inauthentic place, that is when, even with good intentions, but just inauthenticity, that's when I was feeling more backlash and people kind of coming out of the social media woodwork and having negative things to say. But the second that I stepped back and like looked at what I was doing and decided it wasn't actually how I wanted to show up, the moment I reverted back to what felt authentic and healthy and exciting was the moment that all just dissipated. So it pays to be bold. It's phenomenal.
Yeah, and you can do it too. Whoever you are listening to this, we want to say if this we're not just the exceptions. Like, it fully applies to you as well. Start
Mhm.
just speaking your truth.
Yeah.
As corny as that sounds, it's so real.
Yeah. Yeah. Just hop on a story for a few minutes, say something.
Yeah, we want to hear it.
Yeah.
Okay, so we are living in the age of social media, and that is not a bad thing.
No.
Depending on how you look at it and how you show up, Instagram can feel isolating or nourishing. And essentially, what that means is there's different ways to have a relationship with Instagram. I feel like sometimes such overwhelm with the algorithm says this. Oh, now it's changing. It says this. And if you're not doing these three things, you're missing out. And you have to use this. And you don't have to use that. Like, let's just drop all of that and just start having the relationship that we want to with Instagram. It is a big part of our lives. It's easy to say, oh well, I just like don't go on it as much. But in reality, it's not necessarily needing to fully remove yourself. It's changing the way that you relate. And so we're going to get into that.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Ooh. Um, this is like my favorite ever. I'm so excited that we're talking about how to build a community. And so much of it is connecting to your true self. When you're showing up as your authentic self, you're able to call in just endless potentials of new friends and connections and creative community and business opportunities. And it is so phenomenal to have a page that gives you access to people all across the world, or has tools like even just location where you can see, wow, that person lives in Denver and they're doing something very similar to me. How can we foster this relationship or support each other? It is, community is absolutely everything.
Especially in a time where we are feeling so isolated and everything is moving to social media. It's like I would think that like virtual friends is just as meaningful, if not more meaningful right now than meeting people like out in the wild, because there's this ability to see what each other is doing and have that endless potential for collaboration. And so going into it with an open mind, an open heart, feeling that people's intentions are good. I think a lot of the times, my mom is like, is this a scam? Is this person scamming me? I mean, yeah, some of them are, but a lot of people are genuinely here to just try to like meet other people and do cool things together. So
Uh,
when there's that opportunity to collaborate, when there's that opportunity to connect, I say take it.
yeah, absolutely.
And so we're going to go a little bit more into that concept of building community with how to foster connections. So first step is like be your true self, talk about what you do, talk about what excites you. And then there's some next steps. So I'm going to talk a little bit about my work, and Savannah is going to talk about the way that she connects as well. So for me, connection looks like me being a business coach and connecting with potential clients through the DMs. And it doesn't
Mhm.
have to be this immediate, hi, I'm this person and I do this thing, sign up for this course. But in reality, there's nuances with it. There's ways to say, to look at someone's profile and say, hey, I love what you're doing. I noticed you're just starting out with your business. How's that going? And really just starting by asking questions and talking about your life a little bit too, and letting that conversation flow up into the point where it's the time to make that connection. So for me, it looks like your business is starting. How's it going? Someone's like, oh, it's really good, but I'm feeling overwhelmed. Oh, what feels overwhelming about it? And then when they start, showing me the things that I could really help them with, that's when I can bring in, hey, I actually like work with people just like you for these reasons. Let's talk about that. So there's this way to naturally transition into it. And there's also ways to, like, sometimes I'll put myself out there. Someone isn't engaging with any of my content, but then they'll book a session with me a year later and say, I've been following all your posts. I love what you do. So even just by talking about what you do is fostering these connections with people who start emotionally connecting to your words over time and following your story.
Mm, so true. I learned about that recently where it's like a cold lead versus a medium lead or a hot lead. And
Yep.
it's the people who maybe have no idea who you are or don't quite trust you yet. And that's where you're just like, hi, don't, it's not like, hi, buy my product immediately. It's like, hi, let me get to know you. Like, can I benefit you? What are the three, it's like three rules of marketing or business where it's like, do they like me? Can I help them? Do they trust me? And if it's not all three, then it's a no-go pretty much. But I think you made such a beautiful point of even just sharing on social media, to a story, to a feed posts, doing lives, whatever it is, and saying like, here's one way that I can show up and really support you. Here's one thing that I learned that allows these people who maybe are just like filtering through to be like, whoa, that might resonate with me, or like, wow, that's exactly what I've been looking for. What a beautiful sign. And I think that social media is so insane because it's just like millions of people that you can help or learn from or be helped by. And on Instagram, I've genuinely met some of my best friends. I've had like my most incredible collaborations. And it's so interesting because it's a little virtual world on a tiny box, but it expands to real world. And I don't even know where to jump in with the power of collaboration, but even just recently, I've started working with a creative team who every night when I was feeling anxious in the past month, I would write down before bed, what do you want? Like, you're going to bed anxious. Let's not be in that headspace. What do you want? What can you like go to bed dreaming of and trying to feel? And one of the main things I said was like, up leveling my creative team and ability to show up for the brands that I work with. And then these two men walked into my life and absolutely did that. And it's just been the most symbiotic, stunning relationship of, wow, I can help you in this instance, or you can help me here. And we can get together and co-work and just spit out random ideas and flow. Yesterday we had a meeting, an impromptu meeting, and I helped with the media kit because I loved writing copy and having multiple people's opinion. We could form the perfect sentence that maybe one person had a hard time doing. Also, just literal engagement on Instagram, collaboration is massive. It's literally just a web of people. So if you're posting and you're tagging a new friend, that person now has new potential followers from your people. Or you do a joint live video and maybe you just talk about your day, or you talk about something that you both resonate on, and all of a sudden you have both followers able to connect and to find access to new people or new communities. And it's just, there's so much opportunity for everyone. And when you're able to collaborate and help each other and build each other up, it's returned to you tenfold. It pours out into your community. It is absolutely phenomenal.
And I think a really important part of it is getting clear on what kind of collaborations that you want and not taking the things that don't feel good by
Ooh,
getting clear on who the ideal clients are, who your ideal situation is. That's when you start attracting those people to come to you. And it's okay to say no when something doesn't feel right. And it's okay to say yes when it's like fully resonating with you. So dive in when it feels right.
for everyone watching this, please rewind and listen to that one more time. That is so important. There are
Yeah.
so many opportunities and people, and that's been something I've had to work on of like, you don't need to say yes to everything. But when it's a full body yes, hell yeah, do it, do it, do it, do
Yeah.
it. I love
We're the full instigators.
it.
Okay. So another benefit of everything that we're talking about here is the ability to have it nourish your soul. When like this year has been absolutely insane. So when you're going through a hard time, self-doubt's coming in, you're not feeling confident, it's so natural to want to like retreat and like close up and pretend that you're like not a part of this world. But now that's actually the best time to encourage yourself to open up a little bit, to relax your shoulders, to reach out to people, to say, hey, I'm having a hard time. Like, I actually do think connection is going to benefit me. And see what comes of that. Anytime I'm feeling like the most intense, the most doubtful, I just like bring that to my social media. I say like, hey, this is what's going on. Can anybody else relate to this? And all the time I'm having people saying like, yeah, I'm going through the same thing right now. How interesting is that? Getting to
Yeah.
remember that we're not alone through this.
And I think it helps to show up vulnerably on social media when you're doing well, because then in moments when it's really hard and maybe you don't want to share that you're feeling this, then you still have that like practice under your belt and you feel comfortable enough to approach social media to ask for that community or that support. I love just posting like, hi, I could use a hug today. It's a hard day. And even if it's just someone being like, oh, virtual hug, I'm like, thank you so much for taking the time and moment to show that in some way, shape, or form, you heard me and you care. And it's so nice to have other people who are like, oh, yeah, you're not alone in this, because it really is easy to find ourselves in a negative headspace, just like swim in it, repeat the cycle over and over. And then all of a sudden we start feeling like it's just us and no one has ever experienced this and something's wrong. When in reality, the likelihood of at least one other person experiencing what you're going through, someone else is. Someone can help and resonate and allow you to feel seen and heard.
Totally. I mean, even for me, I'm still learning that lesson. Like, I, in my business, always feel like in the past when I had clients, I had to be like, hey, what's up? I'm doing great. How are you? Let's talk about you.
Mm-hmm.
What's going on in your world? But it's like, I can also bring myself to those situations. I can also say, like, I didn't sleep that well last night. I'm still here. I'm still doing the thing. But like giving acknowledgement to myself within the other relationship helps me be more present because I'm not faking it. I'm not pretending like everything's okay. Even in business, even in work, this is like the new paradigm that we're creating, one where we are able to say, like, I'm tired, I'm stressed, I
Yeah.
am not doing the best, but I'm here and I'm present for you. And like, I am excited for this. So just like showing all aspects of yourself.
I think that's so huge. And at the end of the day, even in business, everyone's human. So I think that it allows them, one, to connect deeper with you and really understand, like, wow, this is a human being who's really helping me at the moment. But also for you, it allows you to remain in your authentic self, because if you're already tired and then you're showing up in a very fake way or like pretending to be extra awake or alert when you're not, then you're just going to burn out even more. So I think that's so beautiful that you're working on that, that you feel comfortable to acknowledge that in conversation with people you work with. That's not necessarily easy to do, but so phenomenal.
Yeah, and it's definitely like, as much as I preach authenticity, it's like it is still practice for me. Like, I still am practicing getting on and being like, I'm not doing the best. Like, don't look at me. I can't believe I said that. It's all a learning experience.
Oof, absolutely. Learning and unlearning.
Yes, so true. Whew. All right, let's see what we have next here. Okay, cool. Now it's your turn. Journal
Yay!
prompts. So
Oh my God, our
we want to take you take the next 3 minutes to rate a list of the name or names of people who truly see you, feed you, and encourage your creativity. Ask yourself, what aspects of the relationship feel special and allow for this connection to flourish? So pause here. You can use this prompt to check on it and just dig deep, get real with yourself. Like, really just think about all of those people who have inspired you, all the relationships that feel meaningful to you.
yeah.
Okay, we're pausing.
Okay, I'm
Okay.
drinking.
Cheers. All right. Now we're ready for the next section. See what we got.
Oh.
Okay. So now we're going to go into the like tips and tricks, more educational part. Now that we've done some of the soul work, we've talked about community, we're here to talk some more about the like nitty gritty, some ways to make your life a little bit easier through our real life experiences. So I'm going to first talk about my expertise, which is we're going to talk about batching content, we're going to talk about scheduling posts, and we're going to talk about Instagram stories.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So batching content, Savannah is a full-on expert at batching content. I want to hear from you why you feel it's important and like how to do it.
Yeah. I love that we have on here. It's easier than you think. We do promise. Batching content is so important because consistency is absolutely key in pretty much all life, but also in social media. To have a consistent presence allows people to see you multiple times, to feel like you're trustworthy. There's the rule of 7 in marketing, where someone needs to see something like one workshop, one brand, minimum 7 times to feel trustworthy, to be intrigued, and to actually make a purchase. Now in today's like very instant gratification, quick society, I think that it's more like 50 times we need to see something.
Totally.
Um, but it is scary and overwhelming to think, wow, I have a full month and I live an actual human life, but I also feel like I need to post and stories and links. And it's so easy if you schedule out time to get it done in chunks. And sometimes we don't have resources like a professional camera or photographer or studio, but you can get really crafty and DIY it. And you can just take a day where I'm going to have these 4 hours here. For me, it's a lot of product shots. So I might say, okay, here's 4 brands that I can get done in 4 hours. Here's like a scene in my kitchen, a scene in my living room. And then I use self timer on my phone for photos, but also one of my absolute favorite just little tricks to get an absurd amount of content very quickly is to do a video on your phone, and then you can have video clips from that, and you can also pause and screenshot photos from it, so you're getting video and photo content, and typically a lot of photo content. So I think that is so exceptionally helpful. And if you do have access to a photographer friend, really make sure that you're going into that session prepared. I think it's so important to remain playful and like have some free flowing aspects to it, but also know, okay, I have these 4 brands. I really want these 3 shots for this one and this exact look for this one. So, you know, going in what you want to get, and then you have room to play and explore and get extra content.
And bring some extra clothes so it can look like it's like a few different
Yes.
days
Oh
too.
my God, so important. Yeah. Bring a hair tie, throw on some different jewelry, different outfits. No one will know you have like a full month's worth of content in a day.
Exactly. And so now we're going to take this concept of batching content and we're going to transition it to the next section. So scheduling your content. So now we've done step one, which is you've got the photos. The next step is getting it all organized. So my recommendation is to use Google Drive. That's my biggest recommendation, and have different folders. So maybe there's one photos folder for your business. And then one section is, okay, this shoot on this day, these are the favorite photos. This shoot on this day, these are the favorite photos. And just starting to gather them so it's already there, all in one place. You don't have to go searching on your phone. You don't have to go rewind everything. It's like it's all in one place. And then I want you to take some time to write some journal entries. And you're like, okay, about what? About literally anything. What inspires you? How did you start your business? What feels the most alive for you right now? What does a typical day look like for you? Just start asking yourself these questions and just like writing down as much as you can. Get it all out on there. Talk about your business, talk about your mission statement, just talk. Tell your story. And then the next step is to slap it all together. I recommend putting it into a scheduler. I use Planoly. I also know people love Later, but taking a photo, putting it in there, taking a sentence or a paragraph, putting it in there as well, scheduling it for a date, hitting the schedule button, and then stepping back and moving on with your life. This is a great way to get out of that mentality of, okay, I have to sit down and post today. Oh my God, I haven't posted in like 2 weeks. What do I do? It's having that consistency and also saving you a ton of time when you can just sit down and get it all done at once.
Yeah, such a
Super
game
helpful.
changer.
Oh
Such a
yeah.
game changer. Ooh.
And now we're going to talk about Instagram stories, which is
Yeah.
like both of our favorite ways of connecting with our ideal customers, clients, collaborators, all of the above. Instagram stories are definitely the way to go.
I agree. I think that they're oftentimes almost a little more powerful than feed posts. You can reach so many more people, especially dependent on your use of the tools that Instagram provides. If you put a location, even if it's a random location in a place where you want future clients, it automatically adds to that hashtag into that story. So you're getting people that you might not have had any access to. You can tag other people if you have over 10K followers, which you guys hopefully will in the future if you don't now. You can easily swipe up directly to a link, which is so much more potent because again we have much shorter attention spans, so if it's just like a one click situation, we are content, we're more likely to show return on investment and interest in something. It also is the number one space for people to really get to know you intimately. I feel like feed posts are wonderful, but sometimes in my personal experience I've run into going through exactly what Olivia suggested of writing journal prompts, and I will just write and write and write. And then I all of a sudden go to post in my scheduler for Instagram, and it's like, hi, that is a novel. You cannot do that. And Instagram is not made for that long of an attention span. So I've noticed that the engagement rate on things where I'm posting a photo and then I'm posting just long, long text isn't always as beneficial as when I've shared a story and I've just open form dialogue spoken, and allowed people to really see and feel the emotion, and then had a space to follow it up with a sticker question of like, do you resonate? What do you do with this? I think that's been so phenomenal.
Yeah, and I think that there's so many benefits to using those questions. The first one is that it's increased engagement, so it's inherently going to show it to more people.
Yeah.
And then it gives someone to be, like, the opportunity to be a part of your journey as well.
Yeah.
It gives them the opportunity to say what they want to say. It gives them like a part to become a part of your brand and your business. And that's exciting. And I know I have a lot of fun interacting with other people's Instagram stories. And I know that like I can also see who is interacting with mine and see like what the potential is for some relationships with that too. So definitely take some Instagram stories. If you're like, but my day's boring, I have nothing to say. Your day is not boring. We want to see it. I want to see all the little nuances of you making breakfast and of you talking about something that's really exciting. Like, we want to see it all.
Absolutely. One of my favorite things ever, this is weird, but like seeing people's homes.
Mm-hmm.
Love just knowing like what an intimate look into how someone lives their life. And that's the same with posting to stories. Like, yeah, you can feel like your day might be boring, but it's not. Like, what did you eat? What excited you? Did you read a book? Like, was there something cute you saw? Did you find a link that you really liked? Like, just try it, just post, and people want to know you intimately. We all have a desire for connection. We're all a little nosy inherently. Like, we want to know what you're doing, even if
Totally.
we don't think that we do.
I'm so nosy. I also feel like there's a way to do it without like, let's say you're out and about and you're somewhere amazing. I know Savannah and I, what we do together is like, you use the filter, you take the photo, save it to your photos, and then later, like at the end of the day, when we're just like sitting down, sunburned, just like laying on my couch, like that's when you can go and just kind of put it all together. So you can do it like as you're going throughout the day, but you can also just like sit back at one time and then be like, okay, I'm gonna like, it's like fashion content at the same time. It's like, okay, no,
Yeah.
I'll let these go. And yeah,
I think
don't worry about.
it allows you to really be present in moments you want to, but allows you also to have like an intentional time, exactly with batching content, where it's like, I'm going to post these 4 stories and I want to put a song over all of them that matches perfectly. That's a little time consuming. So it's nice to.
Exactly. Cool. Okay, I feel pretty covered with that.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, your turn. Journal prompt.
These are our favorites. We would love you to pause this again, take about 5 minutes to answer. What is the first action plan you would like to execute after this? And what is one way you can open up more on your Instagram story? So take a few moments, pause this. We'll join you in a second. Okay, I'm drinking more coffee really quick.
I love your mug.
Thank you. I got them at an estate sale. They're like all
Very
different.
cute. Okay, the last slide, the end of the road. Here we are bringing it all together. Even just by taking the first step to learn and level up, you are already showing yourself that you're ready for the next thing, whatever that is.
It is so time to manifest it. Call in exactly what you want in your life and feel and know that it's right around the corner. So
We're
much
here.
good is coming.
Yeah, and we are totally here to support you as well. Both of us
Yeah.
have amazing offers, so take some time. I can link under here our websites and what we have, but we are here to support you even further. We're so
Yeah.
honored that you joined us through this journey of authentic relating. And I just want you to know this is the tip of the iceberg. There's so much more that we can impact, so much more that we can inspire, and we are so here for you.
Oh, absolutely. We set intentions before this and really talked about who we wanted to help and what the purpose was. And we have so much excitement to allow other people these tips and tricks and to dive into their authentic self and really just grow and love life and love their business and show up for themselves, community, and business. So we are absolutely here to support in the future and provide even more things that we learn along the way in our own journey as well.
Yeah, beautifully said. Savannah, thank you for doing this with me. I know this was just a dream that I had. I like woke up one day and I was like, we need to do this. And Savannah's like, yeah, okay, yeah, sure. So thank you for sharing yourself. I feel like we both have such unique perspectives and I really love hearing what you say. I love all the work that you're doing and I am honored to do this with you.
Thank you so much for facilitating this. You are such a strong and like grounded presence in my world and in so many others. And I absolutely adore you. Of course, I will do this with you. I will do anything with you. I love you. I'm so excited for everything in our friendship in the future and for everything related to this.
Yeah, so sweet. All right. We're going to stop the recording now. I hope you enjoyed it and we will be talking to you soon.
Yay!
Oh. Yeah. Okay.